Count money, man. Stack riches. Try and told him I'm a beast bud.
What's up, gang? Welcome back to another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day. Environment, health, and time. We got to protect our assets. And so we become who and what we are around. So we got to choose wisely. Right? This is critical. This is key. If it ain't you, share this with somebody that you know might need to hear this. But we become who and what we are around. We gotta make those decisions wisely of who we're gonna spend a lot of our time with. And so, being intentional, I think, is critical for you to have the levels of success that you need to have, as well as self-awareness. Being aware, looking at yourself, where can I improve? What am I doing? Who am I spending my time with? And then now let me be intentional about who I'm going to spend my time with. Let me pick some people, and then you're going to have to humble yourself. Because if you're not already hanging around those people, you might need to get outside of your comfort zone. You might need to get outside of your schedule in order to hang out with them. So let me give you an example. When I first started in this business, the guy that hired me, who would become a mentor and then become a very dear friend to me, he lived 25 minutes from where I was living when I first started in the business. And he would work out real early in the morning, I think by 6 o'clock every day. And so we worked evenings, and I wouldn't even really get home sometimes and fall asleep till midnight. I would drive all the way to where he worked out, which was right by his house, 25 minutes. Work out with him, then drive all the way back to my place, get cleaned up, and then try to be there on time by 8:30. Because I wanted to be around the right person. You know, there was a saying that a church alive is worth the drive. You know, sometimes people pick the church closest to them, but if you need to drive a little further to go to the one that's the best, that you grow from the most, that might be worth the drive, right? And so the same thing with people. Whatever you got to do to get yourself in the environments, to get around the proximity of the people that you want to become like, that could rub off good on you, it's worth the drive. I can take that into my grappling journey. You know, shout out to the Mat Factory Wrestling Club. Just, it's been a 45-minute plus drive for me to go out there and train, but the level of intensity, the level of heart that is poured into the coaching there, the level of talent around and the seriousness of the people there has made a huge impact in my game, but even more importantly, my life. And I've hoped to give something back in return. But a church alive is worth the drive. And so get around the people you need to be around. No excuses. Energy leaks is when you start wasting your potential. So we got to protect our focus. In order for you to reach your potential, you're going to have to stay focused. You can't just lose focus all the time on the journey. That's why we were saying, you know, check in with what your goals were this year. What did you say you were going to do? What did you say you were going to stop doing, not do? And check in with that and say, hey, how am I doing there? It gives you a chance to call time out. It's okay if you got off track a little bit. Come on back, get back on the track, get yourself back focused. And just pay attention to your diet. Mental and physical diet right now. Who and what you consume mentally and physically either builds you or breaks you down. So if you're not intentional about what you're consuming physically, I think people understand that. But mentally, if you're not intentional, you're going to accidentally consume the world's negativity. The world, the news, mostly negative. Mostly depressed. I mean, if you watch that news long enough, man, it feels like the world's just constantly coming to an end. It's been like this for 30 years since I paid any attention at all to the news. I mean, it's just mostly negative stuff. And so if you're not intentional about, yeah, it's good to be informed. It's good to know what's going on. That's good. But if you're not intentional about what you're feeding yourself, the information, the knowledge, the energy that you're feeding yourself, you're going to get negative, or you're going to get whatever the media wants to feed you. You ever think about who's behind some of the stuff? Like, people could just say whatever and sway everybody's opinion by whatever they put on a computer screen or on a TV screen or on, whatever. It's like a lot of the stuff ain't real, or it's half the story. It's not the truth, not the whole truth. And so short-term pleasure often steals your long-term growth and peace. So we got to choose wisely there, short-term versus long-term. Typically, if you want to go somewhere long-term, you're going to have to make decisions that are based off of good long-term things. And a lot of times the things that are best for you in the long-term are sacrifices that you got to make in the short-term. Your body, that's our vehicle. We got to keep it strong, fueled, maintained. And we only got one vehicle for the rest of our life, one car, right, for the rest of our life. So we got to do that. Time is your most valuable currency. Where are you investing your time? Are you spending your time or investing your time? Think about it like money. Just blowing through it, or are you investing it? Are you spending it, or are you investing it? Are you spending your time, or are you investing your time? Are you intentional about where you're putting in your time? And we can't trade your future for momentary comfort or momentary distractions. One thing that has changed with me over the years is understanding that balance of how to grind, but also how to recover and how to rest. Like, for me, that takes some of the most discipline of anything in my life, is to recover and to rest. Anybody that knows me, no, I don't like to rest. I like to go. I like to get it. I like to work. It's hard for me to, not work out and get it 7 days a week. Sometimes that I got to force myself unless I got some travel and I'm like, all right, there's a good reason to take a day. Your flight leaves at 6 o'clock in the morning. You can't get the whole morning ritual in. So right there, there's your day of resting that area of your life, but it may not rest your mental. But rest and recovery isn't a luxury. That's like a performance tool for you. You got to understand, just like athletes, right? If I'm training hardcore, if I'm an athlete, you got to put as much time, you got to put as much energy into that recovery and rest if you want to be a professional, knowing when to rest, knowing how to rest, knowing how to recover, because that's going to make you better. It's going to give you more juice, going to give you more energy, going to give you all, so being intentional also about your rest and recovery. So, the overall thought process today is check your environment. Where are you spending your time? Who are you spending your time with? Is it a healthy environment, a motivating environment, inspiring environment? If not, take control of your environment. Next, check in health, right? That's an asset to you. How you doing with that? Are you resting enough? Are you getting the right nutrition? Health, mental health goes into there. How are you doing with that? Protecting your mind, protecting your peace. There's certain people that you can't talk to because they just suck and drain your energy. Protecting your mental health, putting into your mental health, putting into your physical health, fitness, exercise, all that stuff, and then time. Where are you putting your time? Are you protecting your time with what you're doing with your time in those assets? So I think these things are important for us on this few-week journey to take a peek on. This week, let's work on those three things: environment, health, and our time. How we doing in all those areas? Hit me up. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know what you're finding value in, or if there's anything I could do to help you on your journey. And as always, we appreciate you. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the GRINDcast. Get ready. It's a new day.